All right. Different day, same assignment, you know? Speak for 5 minutes, just gonna keep going, flowing off the dome. Maybe freestyle rapping, no trapping. Lost it, don't know. But, where to start? Yeah, I just got home from the workout. Usually I work out in the morning. Um, but today I decided I actually woke up late. That's what happened. And then I did some studying before work because I wanted to see if my mind was sharper, be able to retain knowledge better if I did it in the morning. I don't know if that's gonna work because then I have a full work day right after. But then we just crossed the gym, and I kind of like going to the gym at this hour because there's so much more activity. There's more people going. When you go at like 5 a.m., everybody's focused. Everybody's doing their thing, which I do appreciate, and I love the equipment being free. But kind of stopped lifting seriously and consistently for probably like 3 months because it was 3 months looking at the calendar now, but it's because I ran a marathon, and then I had I have ulcerative colitis, so I had a really bad flare up after that because I did not think about it. And my electrolytes were off, my nutrition was off, and jacked up my body for like a full month. So that's what happened with that. So I had to take a month off, and then I kind of I didn't know what to expect out of that. So I was feeling fine, like physically, like I was a little sore after the marathon, but like I wasn't like curled up in a ball for a week, right? Like I was mobile, I was a little sore, I was a little hurt, but like it was no different than anything else, right? For at least for me and my mental and like the activity that I was doing at that time. So I decided to go to the gym on that Monday, right? I ran on a Sunday, went on Monday, and did some heavy deadlifts, like a smart guy, and yeah, that didn't end up well, not one bit. And I remember, actually no, I did squats and then deadlifts. Squats went all right, like my stomach was just feeling a little but when I hit like the first set of deadlifts, I was like KO'd. I was like, I cannot throw up in the middle of crunch right now. So, like a trooper, I picked up my water bottle and my keys and I walked out. And yeah, my stomach was all jacked up for like the next month, so I just took off. And then one day I decided, I was like, this is too long. This is just way too long. So I got back in the gym and I was like, all right, let's do this. But it's kind of tricky because the marathon that I was supposed to do was like a month out from that point. So it was 2 months from the first marathon that I did. The second marathon was supposed to be the first marathon I ever ran, but something kind of just ate away at me one day in December, and I ended up signing up for a marathon on a Friday in the middle of the day for that Sunday to run a marathon. And my longest run at that point was only 18, not only, like it was 18 miles, right? Like it was substantial. It's not 26 though. And that was a big issue. A lot of people would talk about that 20-mile wall. Yeah. It's a real thing. It's and if you're not prepared for it, you've never done it before, that's very challenging. Me, I think maybe delusionally, maybe not, I don't really know. Sometimes I just don't think like I'm the same as other people, right? Like, sometimes I gotta go try things for myself before I take your opinion on it, right? Like, and I think that's the way you need to be in life, right? Like, obviously, if there's stupid things, right? Like, you don't need to go touch the stove to go see that somebody else got burned, right? Like, you're like, I think I'm good, right? Like, the pros don't outweigh, or the cons outweigh the pros on that one. You're like, nah, you got that. I'm gonna learn from you, and I'm never gonna do that shit again. So, yeah. Anyway, marathon. I ran that, and once you get above a half marathon, you need to start calculating nutrition. That is something I didn't really know. I kind of knew it, right? Like, because you kind of have to hydrate correctly for a half marathon, but if you got enough mental toughness in you, you can crank out 13 miles, right? And without water. I've done it. I've done it multiple times. Not saying that's a good thing or you should ever do that, right? Like, it's just, I know it's doable for me. But you do need to start, right? Like, especially if you're running fast, like if you're going for a PR or whatever, right? Like, if you're going for like an easy run, that's when you can do it with like no water. But like, if you're trying to, like, I don't know, go sub 8 whatever, right? Like, yeah, you probably need some water, right? Because your body is using that. Anyway, when you get to a marathon, like, your body is like almost completely depleted of whatever resources it had to begin with. When you started the race, the breakfast you had, everything is burned at that point. And that's what happens around like the 18-20 mile wall. Is your body is fighting for survival. Everything in your body is telling you to stop because it has no fuel. That's what's happening. So that wall is something serious, right? And then also you had like 20 miles on your feet running, all that pounding on your knees, your hips, right? Like, you're doing this the whole time, right? Like, you gotta, right? But that 20-mile wall, you know, I'm not saying David Goggins is correct 100% of the time, but there is something to the aspect of you meet yourself in those moments. And that's exactly why I signed up for a marathon 2 days before, without you know, getting enough like 18 miles is enough to run a marathon. It's not enough to run it well. It's enough to complete it. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to understand my brain, right? Like, I wanted to understand what was going on. That's how I started running in the first place. But this one was a moment of self-doubt. I had that moment of, can I do this, right? Like, and that's exactly what you need to attack, right? One, because like, if there's something you really want, right? Like, if a marathon for me was not ever something I truly really wanted, it was something that was impossible in my brain. Something that was like completely impossible in my brain. It was not even it wasn't really a goal. It was like a weird bucket list item where it was like, that would be cool if I could do that one day, right? Like, the funny thing is, I'm thinking like 10, 15 years down the line, that shit happened in 6 months. Not even less than 4 months. No, 5. I started running May 1st, ran my first marathon December 8th. 5 months. 7 months. I can't do math. It's crazy. But I ended up running. Yeah, but I had that moment of self-doubt, and that's where I really wanted to see what I was made of, right? And like, my character was a little bit more guttural, visceral at that time, right? Like more of like a warrior mentality, um, which I think you need, like as a man, you need to have in your tool belt, right? Like you can't be that way 100% of the time, because if you are, like there's something wrong with you. But you need to pull it out when it's necessary, right? Um, and that was the thing with this marathon, right? Like you come to that 20-mile wall, and you are the one on the battlefield, right? Last man standing against the army in front of you, thinking, am I gonna give up, or am I gonna, like, I know I'm gonna die, right? Like I know that I'm gonna be taken out, but I'm gonna see how many I can take with me. that's that's that mentality, right? Like that's the shift. It's like the even in the face of like certain death, like you're going to give everything you have, right? That was my mentality on it. It was I didn't tell anybody I was running it. I went to a run club Saturday morning, and some of the people invited me out like that night, and like I told them I couldn't, and like they're like, why, right? And I was like, I kind of had to tell them, so I didn't look like I was just ducking them, right? Like, um, so I had to tell them. So only two people knew about it. Um, yeah, and then I and then I ran it, uh, because I wasn't. A lot of the times, what you find is like when you say you're running a marathon and things like that, right? Like you get this weird kind of validation from it, um, like even before you do it. Um, like people were like, "Oh, you're running a marathon," like because I mean, again, in most people's brains, it's like impossible, right? Um, like that's 0.001% of the or 1% of the population, whatever, completes a marathon in their life. Like that's but like that's also why I kind of like the David Goggins message, right? It's like his whole thing is like be the uncommon amongst the uncommon, and that like that fueled something in me, right? Like I'm not here to be in this pack of people doing the same shit. When you look at them and they don't even like their life, they haven't, right? For me, a lot of the things that I think about are legacy, and what are you leaving behind, and who are you becoming, how many people did you help on your way up, like these kinds of things, right? And I get it, a lot of people don't think like that. That's fine. But like that's why that message kind of like really like stuck with me. And like again, running, you really get to meet yourself. I never really thought I would ever run for fun. I still don't run for fun, right? Like I run, I like, it's a form of meditation at this point. It's like nobody likes sitting there and staring at a wall for an hour. Like that makes no sense, right? But you do it because of what it does for you, not the act of doing it. And that's kind of what it's become for me, right? Like it helps me, one, stay in shape, right? Like stay cardiovascular shape, where because like I mean my role model figure, who I'm trying to be like, who I'm trying to aim at, is basically like Julius Caesar meets Da Vinci meets who's my favorite philosopher? Socrates? I don't know. But that's who I'm trying to be like. I'm trying to be this that has never been seen before. But like, kind of, I'll give you the archetype because I can't give you the people, right? But like kind of like Roman gladiator, not gladiator, but like Spartan soldier, warrior king, philosopher, an artist, right? Like that's what I want to be. Um, and I think a lot of times what happens is, for one reason or another, I don't really know, we kind of get molded into this box of one of those, right? Like, if you're the leader, you can't also be an artist. Because if you really notice, like, there's a lot in history, like a lot of great leaders that are also something else, that are all like really good at something else. If you haven't really noticed, but we don't really tend to think like that. Ooh. But yeah, we don't really tend to think like that, and we also don't tend to think very deeply about things. That's what I don't really understand. I don't understand. I mean, that's just how my brain works. I don't understand how people don't think deeply about things. I think that's very strange, in my opinion. But I don't understand how it operates. Like, how do you not move through life asking questions? Like, you just accept everything as it is. That doesn't make any sense to me. And like it was actually really funny. Like the story that comes to mind. The story that comes to mind is when I was doing fraternity recruitment stuff at Florida State. Florida State, decently good education, right? Highly ranked public school. Like, it's a good education. And so to be admitted there, like, you have to be at least book smart, right? Like, there's no way around it. Like, you have to be somewhat of intelligent at something, or have a form of intelligence. And that's what you would think. That's what you would think. And we were doing this fraternity stuff where it was like all the potential new members, the PNMs, would leave this big lecture hall and go back to the student union. And the student union is massive. It's big. It's got like 8 doors at the front, and everybody's like down the block, right? Like, there's a lot of people, or a lot of dudes that are potential new members in the fraternity. Greek life is huge at Florida State, and what you notice is like there's like a line that like zigzagging down the campus, right, to get into this building. And I'm like, this is a lot of people, dude. Like, you're telling me, and sorry, backtrack. They're all going through one door, and I'm like, this is a big event, right? Are you telling me that the school knew that this big event was going on? Because it's a big event. It's a big event every year. You're telling me that they're gonna open only one door? I smoothly got out of line because I wasn't really paying attention, but like, because I thought there was some kind of like check-in process or whatever. But once I like noticed that there wasn't, I was like, what are we doing, right? So then I smoothly got out of line and opened the door to the other one and just walked through. Next thing you know, everybody floods, and I was like, oh. That's when I realized, like, that herd mentality, that group think. I was like, oh, like, that's a real thing, right? Like, you're talking about like every single person in this line of like 500 people going down the campus is smart, and they still did that, right? Maybe I was just a little brushed up on things like groupthink and things like that, more recently than them, and that's why I chose to do something different. Also, I came back to school a little older, so maybe experience had something to do with that. But But yeah, that was like, that's when I started to realize that it wasn't as, things weren't as it seemed. Um, like, and it kind of goes back to the be the uncommon amongst the uncommon, right? Like, I have a whole different story. I have a backdoor way of how I got into FSU. But to get into FSU, right, like, you need a GPA above 4.0. You need an ACT score that's like 90th percentile, right? You can't be stupid. You can't, right? That's the uncommon, right? Everybody in that category of school and then so forth and so on, right? Like, is uncommon. And it takes one person to disrupt that whole thing. And that's what I plan to do, right? I mean, one of my rich plans is that I want to build a school. I want to change the way education is done. But that could also just be because, like, I feel like I was stifled in school a little bit. I think when you don't think like everybody else, like, you have to take a step back, and like, school is not built for the individual, it's built for the system. And the system favorites the average, right? So where people fall along the average, and if you're way over in some other direction, no. And that's always where I've been. I've always been in this section of who knows. And that's how I always felt too, right? Being a mixed kid in a white school, right? Like, you just don't fit in anywhere. Thankfully, I was good at sports, so like, everybody fucks with you if you're good at sports. Like, that's just the rules of high school. Like, you can't really be racist to the star running back. Like, that just doesn't happen. So I think I was thankful in that department. And yeah, and also, like, my goals in high school was football scholarship. I knew that grades were important, but I was getting good grades to get the football scholarship. I wasn't getting good grades because I was learning, if that makes sense. I would find every single way to get good grades without having to learn. Whether it's like, having somebody else write the paper for me, or somebody, you know what I mean? It's something like that, where I wasn't like, I don't think I ever cheated on a test. I never cheated on a test that mattered. Like, if it was something to do with my major or whatever, or not. If it ever had anything to do with what I wanted to do in the future, didn't cheat on it. So that was nothing in high school. I'm just kidding. I don't remember what I did in high school. I definitely cheated in Spanish though. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I don't really know what else. I'm just rambling now. It was supposed to be 5 minutes. It's been 27. Maybe I do start the YouTube channel. Maybe I don't. Maybe I, start it like this. I wonder what this new chapter is gonna look like. I wonder what heights we gonna reach. Cause this is something different. This is something very different than I've ever been. People have ever seen from me. I started writing. Like, I started sharing my writing. I've been low key writing poetry since like middle school, right? Nobody knew about it. It was just in the notes app. It was not good at all. But during this time now, right? Like, during this like transformational period of my life, I felt like I should take up writing. And it was just because I wanted to become more articulate. I wanted to process my thoughts better. And that was just one way to do it. So then I just started doing it, right? Like it started off with the journal. It started off with what is it? There's a kind of like a creativity kind of book to help you unlock like your creative side, and you one of the assignments is do morning pages, like write 3 pages every morning 3 pages, whatever's on your mind, just keep writing. Like it doesn't have to be about anything specific, or it could be about the things you see in front of you, behind you, right? What's happening in your life, what's not, what you want to do, what you want to dream, right? Like literally anything, just writing for 3 pages, getting it out. That's a little hard, but it makes your mind keep thinking. And so then once I started doing that, I started to have better, clearer ideas on the writing that I wanted to do, or just throughout the week. I would just have this kind of idea, then I would write it down, maybe write the concept down, or maybe just write out the full thing. A lot of my writing is like stream of conscious shit. Like it's literally kind of like a journal essay or on that topic. I don't really care to do anything else at the moment, right? Like I don't really need to bring characters and yada yada yada. Like to me, that's not really that interesting. I like to share the insights that have helped me to help other people. Some people do that through characters. Maybe if I evolve, maybe that'll happen. That just seems like a lot more work than I really want to put into writing. Because a lot of these writing things, like at max, to like write and edit, is taking me an hour, right? To come up with the idea, right? I'm just coming up with the idea when it comes up. I try to force myself to do it once a week, just so I'm on like I feel like you have to force yourself to be creative, and like once you can force it, then it becomes a part of you. Like you have to stop waiting for creativity to strike, because she's very sporadic, right? Like you got to produce every week, every day. Like if you're creative, every day would be ideal, but I'm not a creative. I don't work on. Maybe I should be. I should be. Now I'm just ranting to the camera. At this point, am I gonna look this back? Probably not. It's 31 minutes. But I also have not a clue what I said. So